Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net, your choice for the conservative voice. Our founder, Jack Roser, and myself, Carol Parisi, are here with Michael Carbone. And Michael, during the break, we were talking about how you actually got involved in the school board and how you want to cut that spending. But tell our listeners a little bit of your story and how you got involved.
Well, we had just moved to the area. We sought out the area because of the school, and because the school district we lived in prior, which was Big Hollow at the time, Ingleside, Illinois, we were very unpleased with the school. My oldest son went from K through 7 there, and we decided we had to move. There was something going on that we weren't aware of, and it was just too much to handle. But once we moved, the first thing I remember telling my wife, I said, "Listen, hon, I'm gonna start attending these board meetings when we move over here." And I started, and I attended them, and it was amazing because I was the only one that usually showed up, you know. and then it all happened so fast. By January the next year, I was going to a radio show, and I had the radio on, and they're talking about District 46, how there was an empty seat. And I hightailed and turned around and came back there, and the board and the superintendent came up to me, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, I heard you have an open seat. I go, I'll do it. What do I got to do? And I became a write-in candidate. I always laugh about it. I got 12 votes, and I got elected to the school board.
You just kind of followed your heart. Did you even discuss this with your wife, that you were going to be on the school board?
Well, that night, no, because I didn't have a chance.
You just did it. You just followed your heart. You just were compelled to take action.
Yeah, you're going to get me in trouble.
No. I think, but you know what? There's something. Sometimes when you just step outside of your comfort zone and step outside the box where you're just drawn to do something, it's the right thing to do.
Well,
and now, what a great servant you are, because you were the only advocate on that board, I hear from the beginning, for the taxpayer.
Let me say one thing, though. To the credit of my wife, she's always been supportive of me. I've been supportive of her, and she's been a big supporter of mine and my family.
It's called a good marriage. You're blessed.
Yeah, well, she's been a godsend. I mean, she's been awesome.
She is.
And it's tough. I can see why it's tough to be on these positions, on these taxing bodies, especially the school, because it's tough. It's not easy. And you have to have a strong family to understand and care. And I know, and I don't want to go on a sidetrack, but I'll just say real quick, I know a personal friend of mine that's on a school board. They resigned last year, and they're going through a divorce. And I'm not going to mention names, but it's tough. And that's what this can do to a family. It's not easy. And you wonder why people don't go out and why there probably was an open seat for that district.
My wife told me somebody suggested I run for office, and my wife immediately said, "Jack, if you climb high enough, if a monkey climbs high enough, everybody will see his bare butt." So,
you know, I think a lot
my wife was kind of protecting the home alone there.
Well, but just for you to have stepped out, and you're blessed by having a supportive spouse, that you guys are a team. So you really have been a taxpayer advocate on the school board level. What are some of the things you propose to cut spending for the taxpayers?
As far as on the county level?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. Right now, I don't see how we could cut spending. My platform, what I've spoken about is what I did on the school board.
Okay.
And so follow me, I'll try to be clear on this. In 4 years as a county board rep, my goal is to set a plan up for I call it the 5% plan. And that's to find 1.25% of new money over 4 years, which would come out to 5% total.
And you found that by saving money?
Well, that's by being efficient and spending the money that we currently have.
Yeah.
And what I did, just like I did on the school board, which we found 12 to 15% of new money.
That's found money
that we already currently have.
Yeah, without
so we did our
the taxpayer up again.
Right, and we did our job as a board, so we shouldn't have raised the taxes, but they did anyhow. But by doing that on the county level, you lead by example. You find that 5% after that 4th year, going into the 5th year, you'll have about $20 to $25 million of new money without raising taxes every year compounded. Now, what you do with that money is you attract industries, companies, corporations, and put them into the district to start creating jobs, because what the state of Illinois has done to our county, they hurt us by raising the corporate tax.
67%,
yes.
I believe it is.
And now we're the highest taxed state in the country, or the world, I think. But that's how right now it is so hard because Lake County does run lean. I know there's probably some things to find ways you can save money, but I would rather take the money that we currently have in a budget, use that money to create jobs, because that money will trickle down to the bottom.
It almost sounds like accountability. Mr. Brown, Mr. Brown.
Well, I know Sheriff Mark Curran has actually trimmed the Sheriff's Department budget. So there's been areas in Lake County where they've really trimmed up their budgets. They've really looked to reduce the cost. But, you know, that's such a small percentage of the property tax bill.
But you know something, you're saying the Sheriff Curran has trimmed budget, you have trimmed budget as a school board member. Isn't that what families do when they are faced with financial crises? I mean, you don't keep spending more, and that is the dire difference between big bureaucracy and big government versus being responsible to taxpayers' money in the right way.
And you hit it right on. That's exactly the attitude I went in as a school board. I'm going to run this how I run my own home. Now, if I want TV and I have DirecTV and I can't afford HBO, I can save myself $16 a month cutting the HBO, but I can still keep my TV. That $16 compounds over 12 months. Those are the things that we do, common sense things like that we do in our own homes.
Right.
The only difference between the taxing body is it's just a little more complicated, but a lot bigger budget.
Right, and plus they're going into other people's money, and it's certainly, believe me, I use my husband's credit card a little more liberally. We're going to hear more about how to be accountable to the taxpayer from Michael Carbone when we come back after the break. Stay with us.